What if I told you that letting go is more powerful than holding on? Every day, you wake up exhausted, not from action, but from attachment. You're burned out from chasing outcomes, controlling people, and reacting to everything that doesn't go your way. But here's the truth. You were never meant to control what you don't own. The Stoics knew this 2,000 years ago. Detach from what you can't command. Focus on what you do own, your mind. That's where real strength lives. You see, most men lose battles they never needed to fight, arguing with chaos, begging for closure, performing for people who don't even deserve access to their energy. But what if you stopped reacting? What if you chose silence over noise, distance over drama, clarity over control? This isn't emotional numbness. It's strategic dominance. It's not about being passive. It's about becoming untouchable. In this video, we'll break down 8 clear, practical ways to detach like a warrior. You'll learn how to cut distractions, seal your mind, master your pause, and most importantly, reclaim your peace. You're not weak for stepping back. You're smart for no longer bleeding for things you can't influence. You're not alone. Every man who has ever suffered burnout from chasing approval or reacting to disrespect has stood where you are. So stay, listen closely, then act deliberately. This is Stoic philosophy for men who choose clarity over chaos. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let's start detaching. 1. Let go of the illusion. You were taught to take control of your future, of people, of outcomes. You were told to chase it, seize it, never let it slip. But they never told you the truth. Control was never real. It was a contract you signed with chaos, and now it's killing your peace. You try harder, grip tighter, and still everything slips through your hands. Why? Because the more you try to hold the storm, the more it breaks you. You weren't designed to dominate the wind. You were designed to stand in it without losing yourself. Think of a man gripping a rope that's tied to a sinking ship. He believes that if he holds on long enough, the ship will rise. But it doesn't. It pulls him down. Every second he clings, he loses oxygen. Perspective, power. Detachment isn't weakness. Cutting the rope isn't quitting. It's how you survive. It's how you dominate the situation without letting it dominate you. You lose control the moment you need it. When you need someone to act right, when you need a situation to go your way, you've handed your emotional sovereignty to the unknown. Now your mood, your peace, your discipline, they hang on threads you don't hold. That's not a strength. That's emotional slavery. And that's exactly what Stoicism exists to break. The Stoics didn't believe in bending reality. They believed in bending the mind to fit reality. Some things are up to us and some things are not, Epictetus said. That's the line, not a theory. Although, on one side, your choices, your focus, your actions. On the other hand, everything else. Weather, traffic, other people, your past, the markets, the news, what someone thinks of you, how they behave, what they feel, where they go. That's all smoke, no leverage, no control. Still, most people burn decades trying to force things to happen, waiting for apologies, manipulating timing, arguing with fate. They invest their energy into shadows and wonder why they're exhausted. They drown in anxiety, not because they're weak, but because they're attaching to things they were never meant to carry. Detachment, then, is not indifference. It's precision. It's choosing what gets to touch your nervous system, what gets to enter the gate, what deserves your emotional bandwidth. Most things don't. You feel tired, not because life is hard, but because you're pouring fuel into outcomes you can't steer. Letting go is not a spiritual concept. It's a tactical decision. Every moment you choose not to react, not to chase, not to control, you reclaim energy. That energy becomes your weapon, your clarity, your edge. The man who needs nothing owns everything he does. That's the shift. So next time you feel pulled, to argue, to fix, to force someone to understand you, remember the rope. Ask yourself, does this outcome belong to me? Is this mine to command or mine to release? If it's not in your hands, it should not be in your head. Then act accordingly. Step back, seal gact, return to your post. Power does not come from more effort. It comes from fewer leaks. You are not here to carry everything. You are here to command only what's yours. Let the rest burn, let the illusion fall, and watch what remains. You, still, clear, unmoved, in command. 2. Own nothing but yourself. You think you're in control because the world listens to you. You think your power comes from your job title, your relationship, your influence. But look closer. The truth is this: you don't own any of it. Not the applause, not the outcome, not even the people who say they'll never leave. Everything around you is on lease, temporary, unstable, unpredictable. The only thing you truly own is your mind, and most men forget to protect it until it's too late. Imagine a soldier standing in enemy territory, unarmed, surrounded, yet still barking orders as if he commands the field. That's what most people look like emotionally, trying to direct a world that doesn't belong to them. They explode when others don't act the way they expect. They fall apart when plans crumble. They spiral when someone walks away. But what they fail to see is this: real damage doesn't come from the event. It comes from the expectation. They weren't betrayed by life. They were betrayed by the illusion that it owed them something. Stoicism cuts through this delusion with a blade. The Stoic doesn't cry over chaos. He builds for it. He doesn't try to predict the weather. He fortifies the roof. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire but still reminded himself, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. That's not philosophy, that's armor. You lose strength every time you try to regulate the behavior of others. You lose time every time you try to manage someone else's perception. You lose peace every time you trade your discipline for their approval. That's not love. That's emotional exposure. When your identity depends on things that move, you become movable. When your validation is outsourced, your stability is on loan. And when it's taken, you collapse. But there's another way. Detachment isn't about walking away from the world. It's about reclaiming your authority inside it. The battlefield isn't your job. It's not your partner. It's not the people who misunderstand you. The battlefield is your reaction to it all. And the victory is silence, precision, self-governance. When you stop giving strangers the keys to your self-worth, you become unreadable, unshakable. You move from fragile to formidable. You stop proving, you start choosing, and the weight lifts. So the next time someone offends you and the reflex to argue rises, pause. Ask yourself, is this person inside my domain? Is their opinion something I can command or just noise passing through? Then act accordingly. Don't explain. Don't react. Don't defend. Withdraw your energy. Shift the power dynamic by shifting your focus inward. That's not passive. That's strategic. Because when your peace no longer depends on external cooperation, no one can weaponize your emotional state against you. Build the fortress. Not in theory, in practice. Start by reviewing where your energy bleeds. Who are you trying to impress? Where are you overextending to be liked, to be needed, to be praised? Now burn the list. You don't owe anyone your openness. You owe yourself your sovereignty. Most men live outside their walls, fighting, chasing, performing. Few return home to their true post, still calm, centered. You can't be everywhere. So start here. Withdraw from what moves. Stand where you cannot be moved. Own nothing but yourself and watch everything else lose its power over you. 3. Seal the mind. A fortress isn't conquered by force. It's lost through open gates, not with armies but with access. The same is true for your mind. You don't lose clarity because life is chaotic. You lose it because you've left too many doors unlocked. Noise walks in, opinions walk in, expectations walk in, and soon you don't know which thoughts are yours anymore. Most people don't defend their minds. They decorate it. They scroll. They react. They absorb everything, every headline, every opinion, every insult, and they wonder why they're drowning in confusion. But a man who doesn't seal his mind is a man who will break under pressure. Not because the storm is too strong, but because the foundation is too open. Your mind should not be a hallway. It should be a vault, locked, weighted, disciplined. Every thought that enters must earn its place. Every emotion must pass inspection. Because unchecked emotion becomes manipulation. Unfiltered input becomes control. Imagine a computer with no firewall. Everything gets in. Malware, noise, viruses. It slows, glitches, collapses. Now apply that to your thinking. Every notification, every comment, every swipe, they chip away at your stability. And that's how the world disarms you. Not with war, with distraction. They don't need to fight your will. They just fill your bandwidth. You're not losing to enemies. You're leaking to noise. The Stoics understood this. Marcus Aurelius journaled daily, not to share his thoughts, but to secure them, to filter, to sort signal from noise, to keep the fortress clean. He wasn't posting for likes. He was building walls. His calm wasn't natural. It was crafted, word by word, filter by filter. That's the model. You don't owe the world constant exposure. You owe your mind protection. You don't let every person into your home. Why let them into your head? Powerful men are not louder, they're quieter. Because their thoughts are filtered, their inputs are controlled, their emotions are not for sale. That's what makes them unreadable. And unreadable is untouchable. It's not about being cold, it's about being calibrated. When someone provokes you and you feel nothing, it's not numbness, it's precision. You don't get pulled in. You don't mirror their chaos. You observe, assess, and remain. So what does sealing your mind look like? Start here. Audit your inputs. Cut the junk. Stop consuming what doesn't sharpen you. Remove one app. Block one source. Take silence as seriously as strength. Create a daily gatekeeping ritual. 10 minutes, no noise, just you and your judgment. Ask, is this thought mine? Does it help or hijack? Then act. Don't explain. Don't apologize. Don't reopen the gate. You can't protect your peace while letting the world walk through your mind unfiltered. Discipline is your firewall. Silence is your armor. And focus is your edge. Stop giving strangers the right to shape your mood. Stop letting weak inputs build your inner world. Cut the feed, shut the gate, hold the line. In a world that profits off your reaction, your detachment becomes your power. And in a world that's constantly watching, your unreadability becomes your weapon. Seal the mind, guard the gate, own your inputs, or be owned by them. 4. Kill the reflex. They say you're strong if you speak up, fight back, and react quickly. But real strength isn't in speed. It's in the pause. The second you react, you lose. You become predictable, readable, and programmable. Every reaction is a leash, and someone, somewhere is holding the other end. They say one wrong thing and you explode. They ignore you and you spiral. That's not power, that's programming. That's how most men live, wired for reactivity, addicted to defending themselves. But the Stoic doesn't perform on cue. He breaks the script. He controls the space between stimulus and response. That's the gap where domination begins. Imagine a boxer in the ring. He doesn't swing first. He reads, he waits. He knows that the one who strikes in panic usually walks into a trap. The same principle applies to life. Your enemy isn't the insult. It's the need to answer it. Your enemy isn't the disrespect. It's your compulsion to prove them wrong. Most people react because silence feels like surrender, but it's not. It's restraint. It's choosing not to bleed on command. That pause, that's where control is born. The world baits you to flinch. Notifications, arguments, passive aggression, guilt, all carefully placed triggers. They want to pull you in, but when you don't move, when you don't explain, don't overthink, don't justify, they lose control. Not reacting isn't weakness. It's psychological warfare. You leave them swinging at shadows, and when you do act, it's calculated. You speak when it shifts the balance, not when your ego feels bruised. The Stoics didn't suppress emotion. They trained it. Epictetus didn't say never feel. He said, master the impulse. Don't let the outer chaos dictate your inner command. You were not built to be a puppet. You were built to choose. But every time you react from emotion, you hand over the remote. You become a mirror for the chaos around you. Instead of setting the tone, you reflect theirs. So how do you kill the reflex? Start small. Pause before you reply to the message that stings. Breathe before answering the question that was meant to provoke. Walk away before explaining yourself to someone who's already decided to misunderstand you. These are not soft tactics. These are strategic holds. Every second you delay your response, you increase your control. You give yourself space to think, to assess, to choose a move that serves your mission, not your mood. This is how you turn silence into pressure. People expect reactions. When they don't get one, they unravel. They fill the gap with their own fear, guilt, or confusion. That's the advantage. You don't need to attack. You just need to stop being baited. Detachment here isn't about being numb. It's about being grounded, unmoved by trivial things, sharpened by restraint. Because the man who pauses doesn't just survive conflict, he dictates the outcome. While others waste energy on noise, he conserves power for decisive strikes. While they play defense, he controls the terrain. This isn't coldness. This is calm under pressure. This is Stoic dominance in motion. If they can make you flinch, they own your rhythm. But if you can sit in silence while others shout, you control the pace. You change the room without raising your voice. And that's the mark of mastery. Kill the reflex, command the pause, strike only when you choose, not when you're triggered. That's how you win without fighting. That's how you remain untouchable. 5. Cut without emotion. You don't need to yell. You don't need to prove anything. You just need to cut, clean, sharp, final. That's detachment. Not some vague idea of inner peace, but a surgical act of clarity. Most men bleed because they won't make the cut. They hold on out of guilt, nostalgia, or comfort. They confuse loyalty with self-destruction. And they tell themselves it's love, it's kindness, it's strength. But if it drains your discipline, clouds your focus, breaks your calm, it doesn't belong. Picture a man carrying a leaking barrel. The longer he holds it, the heavier it feels. Not because the weight changed, but because the leak never stops. He adjusts, he justifies, he hopes it'll stop dripping. But it doesn't. It never will. That's how most men carry people, habits, and attachments. Things that drain them quietly while they try to stay strong. But there's no honor in holding what poisons you. There's no virtue in refusing to let go of what has already left you emotionally. Cutting isn't cruel. Cutting is clarity. It's the decision to end the slow death of your energy. When you detach without apology, you reclaim your edge. You stop explaining why your peace matters more than their approval. And you stop bargaining with people who only love you when you're useful. That's not detachment out of bitterness. That's detachment out of vision. You see where this is going, and you walk away before it becomes a wreck. The Stoics never preached passivity. They taught restraint, yes, but they also taught standard. Epictetus didn't say to tolerate everything. He said guard your mind. He said don't invite what corrupts your peace. Detachment means you love with discipline, not desperation. It means when something no longer aligns with your values, you don't fix it, you remove it. No noise, no fight, just motion. Most people confuse emotional silence with emotional numbness. But you're not going cold, you're going clear. And in clarity, you realize not everything deserves closure. Not everyone deserves another conversation. Some things require a clean exit, without a scene, without guilt, without leaving a door cracked open for chaos to re-enter. So when do you cut? When the weight steals your sleep. When the tension clouds your thinking. When you find yourself shrinking to keep peace in places that never return it. That's your signal. And when it shows up, act. Don't debate. Don't dramatize it. Just act. Distance is discipline in motion. A man who knows how to walk away doesn't fear loss. He fears losing himself trying to keep what no longer fits. Cutting without emotion doesn't mean you didn't feel. It means you felt and still chose logic. You felt and still chose silence. You felt and still chose yourself. Apply this to one thing in your life. A toxic input, a useless expectation, a draining contact. Don't wait for the situation to explode. End it now. Quietly, precisely. Not to prove anything, but because your peace is no longer on the table. The world will say you're harsh. Let them. The weak need permission. You don't. You need clarity. You need alignment. You need energy that sharpens, not distracts. So cut without guilt, without fear, without fanfare. Every clean break is a new border drawn. Every silent exit is a statement of value. You don't chase, you don't beg, you cut and never bleed for the same thing twice. Because from now on, you don't hold what doesn't hold you back with strength. You let it go. Clean, cold, complete. 6. Withdraw to win. Most men think presence is power. They believe showing up, speaking louder, and proving their point gives them control. But real control is in the retreat. Not out of fear, out of strategy. You don't win by being everywhere. You win by knowing when to disappear. Not from responsibility, but from emotional warfare you never agreed to fight. A lion doesn't roar at flies. He walks away. The air gets quiet. The ground gets tense. That's power. And in a world addicted to visibility, the man who vanishes on purpose disturbs everything. People are trained for conflict. They expect reactions. They expect you to respond, argue, and justify. They feed off the back and forth. But when you break the rhythm, when you don't show up to defend yourself, when you don't explain, when you're not where they expect, you fracture their pattern. That silence, it becomes a mirror. They're left alone with their noise. And most people cannot survive without pulling someone into it. This isn't passivity. This is positioning. When you withdraw, you strip their leverage. You remove your attention, the most expensive currency in modern conflict. You stop feeding the fire. You let it burn itself out, and while they spiral, you recalibrate, you regain altitude. Because presence isn't always a weapon, sometimes it's bait. And most men keep showing up where they're being slowly disarmed. The Stoics taught detachment through stillness. They didn't respond to every insult. They didn't argue with every critic. Marcus Aurelius, an emperor, wrote to himself, "You always own the option of having no opinion." That's the move. Don't engage with what doesn't elevate you. Don't stay where your presence is expected, but not respected. Detachment here is a clean break from participation, not from awareness. In daily life, this means you stop chasing closure. You stop responding to passive aggression with an explanation. You stop inserting your energy where it gets diluted. That coworker's sarcasm? Reply. No reply. That text is filled with bait, left unread. That family member who only calls when they want to guilt you? Distance, not drama. You don't leave the battlefield because you're afraid. You leave because the war is designed to drain you, and you don't waste strategy on noise. Withdrawal gives you the high ground. From that place, you see patterns clearly. You study motives without interference. You move without announcement. That's how you gain influence without words. You become unreadable, unpredictable, untouchable. Not because you vanished in weakness, but because you reappeared with precision. Apply this with intention. Choose one dynamic that drains your mental peace. A conversation, a thread, a cycle. Don't confront, don't explain, just exit. Pull your attention back like a sniper pulling the trigger, clean, cold, complete. Then observe. Watch how silence creates discomfort, how absence demands more answers than presence ever could. That's the shift. You stop chasing resolution. You become the resolution. This is not a tactic for the insecure. This is for men who understand that detachment isn't an escape from confrontation. It's elevation above chaos. Most people react. Some fight. Few disappear with discipline and return with leverage. Be that few. You don't need to be loud to disturb the room. You don't need to be present to influence the outcome. All you need is the will to leave when the space no longer sharpens you. Withdraw. Regain sight. Re-enter on your terms, or never at all. Power doesn't scream. Sometimes it just vanishes. 7. Become unreadable. If they can read you, they can reach you. And if they can reach you, they can control you. That's the rule no one teaches, but it governs every psychological war you'll ever face. Most people walk around like open books, pages exposed, emotions highlighted, vulnerabilities underlined. They call it authenticity. But in the wrong hands, it's ammunition. Oversharing isn't a connection, it's surrender. When everyone knows how you think, how you feel, and what triggers you, you become easy to manipulate, easy to disarm, easy to provoke. Imagine a military base with glass walls, transparent, open, exposed. No matter how strong the weapons inside, the enemy doesn't need to fight. They just watch, learn, predict, and strike. That's what happens when you speak too soon, react too often, and explain too much. You hand people your manual, and the moment they need to push your buttons, they know exactly where to press. You think they understand you. What they really understand is how to use you. The Stoics never moved like that. They spoke with precision, not volume. They withheld as a form of power. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself not to speak unless it improved the silence. Seneca warned about pouring your soul into weak containers. Epictetus said to keep your training private. Why? Because power dies in predictability. The more they know, the more they can twist. Being unreadable doesn't mean being fake. It means being governed. You don't show everything you feel. You don't react to every stimulus. You learn to hold tension, to observe without being drawn in, to filter your visibility like a sniper in a crowd. Your calm isn't emptiness. It's controlled exposure. You're not hiding. You're choosing what gets seen, when, and by whom. In a practical sense, this means mastering micro moments. When someone insults you, don't flinch. When a manipulator tests your boundaries, don't defend. Let the silence do the work. When the world expects a reaction, give them stillness. That's the strike. Not loud, but surgical. The fewer signals you give off, the more unstable they become trying to decode you. You become their mirror, their projection, and eventually their confusion. Unreadability is mental shielding. You walk into rooms without broadcasting your energy. You enter situations without revealing your frame. You become the man whose motives are unclear, whose state is steady, whose response is unpredictable. That's why unreadable men disturb systems. They can't be controlled, and that makes them dangerous. No one can destabilize you if they don't know where your anchor is. So how do you train this? Start with silence, not as withdrawal, but as assertion. Speak less. Cut your explanations in half. Stop narrating your day, your struggle, your intent. Let them guess, let them assume, and let them be wrong. That space between who you are and what they think, that's your weapon. Hold it. Then practice emotional stillness. When you feel the urge to correct, to clarify, to be understood, pause. Not everything deserves clarity. Not everyone deserves access. Especially not those who haven't earned it through consistency and respect. From now on, let people read silence, not your state. Let your face say nothing. Let your eyes say everything. Let your energy remain intact behind closed gates. You owe no one your transparency unless it serves your mission. You don't need to be liked. You don't need to be interpreted. You need to be solid. And solid things don't explain themselves. They stand, quiet, unbothered, fully known only by those who've earned the right to know. Become unreadable, and you'll become untouchable. 8. Exit the game. Power isn't always in playing harder. Sometimes it's in walking off the field and never looking back. Most men live trapped in games they never chose. Games of validation, approval, and performance. They try to be seen, to be praised, to be understood. But the more they chase significance in other people's eyes, the more invisible they become to themselves. The truth is simple. You don't win by proving yourself. You win by detaching from the need to be seen at all. Think of a puppet on stage. Every string moves it. Applause, criticism, expectations, silence. It dances to survive, not out of joy but fear. That's the modern man. Reactive, pleasing, exhausted. But the Stoic cuts the strings. He doesn't stop feeling. He stops needing. He doesn't shout his truth. He lives it. He doesn't beg for peace. He builds it. Quietly, daily, with discipline. You cannot be broken by what you've already killed inside. The need to explain, the desire to be liked, the desperation to be accepted. All of that, burned, cut, sealed. The man who doesn't need the crowd cannot be manipulated by it. He's not cold. He's calibrated. He still loves, still feels, but he doesn't bleed to prove it. He stays in control, and that control doesn't scream. It exists. Heavy, grounded. This is where most people fail. Not in action, but in attachment. They walk away from situations, but not the emotional leash tied to them. They say it's over, but they still check their phone. Still seek closure. Still perform mentally for an audience that stopped watching. Detachment isn't physical distance. It's psychological dominance. The moment you no longer need them to understand, respond, fix, explain, you've already won. The Stoics call this state apatheia, not apathy, but a mind untouched by what doesn't serve it. A man who trains his thoughts to obey his mission, not his mood. That kind of power isn't loud, it's unnerving. Because you become the ghost they can't provoke, the storm they can't predict. You're not aggressive, you're still. And in a noisy world, stillness disturbs. So how do you exit the game? You stop proving. You stop trying to manage the image others have of you. You cut off the performance at its root, the internal story that says you must earn your right to peace. You already have it, you just forgot. Start by identifying one loop you're trapped in. Maybe it's needing to respond, needing to be understood, needing someone to validate your value. Then break it, not with drama, with stillness, with no explanation, with a calm that confuses. Detachment here is the final form. Not numb, not distant, just complete. No unfinished conversations, no fake connections, no unspoken needs, just you, grounded, focused, quietly dangerous. That's what Stoicism builds. Not a man who escapes life, but a man who owns it from the inside out. And from now on, every move you make is intentional. Every silence is loaded. Every retreat is permanent. Not because you're weak, but because you've outgrown the need to be understood. You're not here to win people. You're here to win yourself back by exiting every performance that demanded your energy and gave you nothing in return. Let them talk. Let them assume. Let them watch your absence like it's a message, because it is. From now on, your peace is not a negotiation. It's policy. It's the line. You don't bend, you vanish, you detach. Not because you're running, but because you already arrived. The world will keep pulling. It will demand your reaction, your attention, and your energy. But if you've listened closely, you already know power isn't in how loud you speak, it's in what you choose to ignore. It's in what you detach from. And more than anything, it's in what you no longer need. What we've walked through today isn't just a philosophy, it's a discipline, a daily decision to build clarity instead of chaos, to choose silence over noise, to hold your energy like a weapon, not a weakness. Detachment is not running away, it's rising above. It's reclaiming your identity from the hands of outcomes, expectations, and people who never earned that control. Remember, you don't own the world, but you own your response. And when you take full responsibility for that, you become unshakable. You stop giving access to draining people. You stop leaking your peace into problems you can't solve. You build boundaries, you cut what doesn't serve, and you seal your mind like a fortress. But none of this matters unless it's lived. So start today. Practice the pause. Train your inner calm. Withdraw from one situation that drains you. Choose not to respond. Choose stillness. Choose a discipline. Because the man who masters his detachment masters his direction. Now I want to hear from you. Which part of today's message hit you the hardest? Have you had to detach from something or someone that once controlled you? Share your story in the comments. This is how we sharpen each other, through truth, through self-mastery, through shared growth. Stay grounded, stay focused, and above all, stay sovereign. Your peace is yours. Defend it like your life depends on it. Because it does.